Welcome, Bitcoin fam, to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as the SEC met with El Salvador this week to discuss creating a sandbox for Bitcoin and crypto innovation. The new era begins. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin supply on the exchanges is falling due to the public company purchases. Can you say incoming supply shock? We'll also be discussing Asian firms ramp up their Bitcoin buys, including Meta Planet and BlackRock. Their Bitcoin fund wins the best new ETF on $643 million inflow day. Also, breaking news, we will be discussing sovereign wealth funds piling into Bitcoin as the retail exit, according to the Coinbase executive, as well as Max Keiser makes a whopping 2.2 million Bitcoin forecast amid 21 Capital versus Strategy Showdown. I'll be breaking this down for you, and as a bonus, we'll be discussing how to create an income with your Bitcoin, British HODL style. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. And hopefully the stream is smooth and clear. So we're going to check and see, because I have no idea, obviously, until we check. But let's see how we doing, hopefully. Looks like, is it still choppy or is it good? Let me know, fam. But I did notice it wasn't the internet earlier. The technical difficulties was the streaming software. It created an error when I hit live, and I saw it after I shut it down. So hopefully we're good, but who knows? I don't know what's really going on with Streamlabs. It's crazy. Right now, I'm only live on X and YouTube. I eliminated Rumble just in case that was causing the glitch. I'm not sure, but it's crazy. Shout out Passive, shout out Oracle. I'm going to wait for some feedback. Let me know if the stream is still choppy or not, because I'm not sure what's causing it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a little weird, to be quite honest with you guys. But hopefully we're okay. But let me know. And again, welcome everyone to the live stream, dual stream for today. We're just live on X and YouTube. A bit glitchy, but overall, is it all right? A little choppy, nothing to worry about. Yeah, I don't know why that is. It's just very odd. Maybe I need to update the software. I'll figure it out later. Yeah, I still blame Gary. In fact, Gary Gensler, if you're watching, lurking right now, this gong strike is for you. But anyways, help me blow up the stream regardless. It's much appreciated. All comments and quotes to the live stream will get reposted in real time. And I'm going to go ahead and pin the stream to the top of the X profile right now. And so you're going to notice it at the very top. Ignore the one that went live at 4 because we terminated that one. So the brand new one is officially pinned. Again, all comments and quotes of the live stream will get pinned. Yeah, we'll roll with it. Sometimes you got to roll with the punches, like a young Floyd Mayweather or Roy Jones Jr. You got to do what you got to do. Yeah, you understand? But I'm going to hit you with the theme music, and we'll go from there.
Oh my gosh, it's finally almost here. JV is going to talk to us. Crypto news is near. I can't stand waiting. There is no debating. I waited all day. Maybe I need a life, but Bitcoin is all I can think about day and night. Hurry, JV.
Welcome everyone to today's live stream. It's good to be here. Dual stream today. I eliminated Rumble because when I went live at 4, it was awful. Not sure exactly what's causing the streaming error in the software, but this time we're not on Rumble. We're just on X and YouTube, and fingers crossed that it's good enough for you guys audio wise and visually. I appreciate it. But what we're going to do, we'll kick it right off without further ado. If you're new to the channel, very important, smash the likes, subscribe, ring the bell, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every day, just like this. Today is pod number 1972. I'm your host, JV, and this is your co-host, Nippinator. Glad to be here today, April 24th, 2025. Let's kick it off with our market watch, as we do each and every day. We finally pull back some after several days of green bullishness in the markets. The silver lining, we're still maintaining above 93,400 at the time of the live stream, only down 0.3% on the day. Ether in the red, XRP and BNB all correcting and in the red. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. The current crypto market cap sits at a staggering $2.93 trillion. Bitcoin market cap just shy of 1.9 trillion. We got roughly, I would say, 89 billion worth of volume over the past 24 hours. So volume's down 20 or 34% on the day. Bitcoin dominance has been climbing, currently 63.4%. Ether dominance, 7.3%. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Polygon Matic up 12%. Artificial Superintelligence Alliance up 12%, and Stacks up 10%. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for the bull? Let me know. And checking out the crypto bubbles, full perspective on the day. As you can see, most of the market in the green overall, even though a lot of the top coins are correcting and in the red. Zooming out on the weekly, I'd say virtually everything in the green, like 98% of the market. Not too shabby there. Trump coin leading the pack. As you know, Trump made an announcement that the top holders of the Trump meme coin would win a dinner, and it soared literally 60% in a day, which explains the price jump. But anyways, the monthly you're looking at now, it's pretty divided. I'd say 60-40, red over green. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, today we're 63 greed. Yesterday, the highest we've been in a hot minute at 72. Last week at 30, and last month at 46 in fear. Checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We're currently on block height 893,812. We have 156,188 blocks to the next halving. And you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,071 sats. So pick up the sats, put down the gats, and pick up some Bitcoin cats from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. And if you don't know, now you know. Welcome everyone to the live stream. What to do? Yeah. Hey, JV, watching Cornwall, England. Shout out Fairground. Appreciate you tuned in. Finally getting good weather in Sussex County, says Nelson. Glad to hear you got good weather, broski. That's important, of course. Of course. Blessing, CRO Nation Strong, says John 316. Streamlabs, appreciate the reminder. Remember to smile. God loves you, and Satoshi blesses you each and every day, of course. Very important right there. But again, welcome everyone joining us. Dual stream today. We're live on X and Rumble. I'm going to check the X feed. All comments and quotes will get reposted. This is how we hack the algorithm over here. Thank you, Fairground. Just reposted. Thank you, Chandy. I see your repost. Thank you, Boss33. And of course, JC, our very own Oracle. Shortcoin. Y'all are the bomb diggity. And we have a brand new Chandy music video we're going to premiere today for Dragons, which I'm excited about. Exciting times. Hello, orange people. Hello there, orange folk. We orange pillin' the masses like blackberry molasses. Let me know how the stream is looking. I appreciate it. But anyways, without further ado, we'll dive into today's TA, aka astrology for the broskies, and I'll pull up some of the live charts. Bitcoin short squeeze or 87 dip next. You let me know your thoughts, and I'll break down some of this TA as per some of the analysts here in the market. Let's start right here at the 1 hour chart. Bitcoin consolidated below key resistance today as the price forecast brought sub 90,000 levels back in play. The market is now up over 1% on the day on no news at all, according to the Kabisi letter. As we have seen multiple times this year, it almost feels like someone is front-running something right now. We expect to see some sort of bullish announcement soon. Bitcoin continued to brush off the news events, leaving volatility to the equities, while gold attempted to stabilize after slipping from record highs. We did tap roughly $3,500 per ounce of gold. And quoting Mikhail Vende Pop, fairly normal to have a slight correction here on Bitcoin, as it's just had a massive breakout. Buyers likely going to step in, and then we'll be continuing our path towards new all-time highs. Let me know if you agree, disagree with the analyst. Immortal says a dip to 88,000 would be lovely. If the market gives it, I will probably play one of these two setups, or maybe both. Also, Rec Capital had a similar conception for the potential support retest, quoting them here, depends upon how the Bitcoin weekly closes relative to 93.5. I shared alongside the chart. So the main target thus remains at 93 for the yearly open. And Chad says Bitcoin liquidation heat map shows that liquidity of leverage positions is building up on both sides. Leverage longs mainly around 91.4 and leverage shorts at around 93.5. To which direction will likely head next. And like I said, I'll pull up the live chart here. Also, breaking news, the SEC did meet with El Salvador this week. And of course, last week, we had Bukele meeting with Trump. President B meets President T, which is always bullish. And now they're going to be creating a sandbox for Bitcoin and crypto innovation. The new era begins. Chigga, 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 Slim JV. Stack the biddy. But there you have it. And now let's pull up some of the live charts really quick. We'll take a quick look at some of the different time preferences, starting with the hourly, and then we'll work our way back from there. So let me see here. And this is live via TradingView, via Coinbase. The 1 hour chart, as you can see on your screen, we had a lot of bullish momentum in the past week. In fact, even today, we're climbing right back, but we did dip some, obviously, after 3 consecutive days of bullishness. Zooming out from the hourly, let's check out the 4 hour. 4 hour chart, you can see this morning we had 3 green consecutives, and we finally got a red corrective, which is where we're at. And yesterday, a lot of green 4 hour candles. And zooming out from here, there's no particular target. We'll go to the daily. And the daily chart does have a bull target. There is a rising wedge formation followed by a falling wedge. The bull scenario is just shy of 112,000, which take us back to price discovery. Bear scenario, just shy of 69 Gs. And zooming out a little further from there, we'll go to the weekly. And the weekly chart, you can see 3 consecutive green candles, which is nice. So this week has been very bullish, already basically outpacing the 2 previous weeks put together virtually. And Sunday we'll get the next weekly close. The silver lining here is we do have the cup and handle $124,000 target in play. And taking one more look here at the 1 month, a broader perspective, you can see the month of April thus far so good. Big green candle. Previous 2 months were bearish, unfortunately. And, November was the biggest green candle we have ever seen in Bitcoin's history. So there you have it. Let me know which side you think Bitcoin is likely to play next, up or down, up, down, left, right, BA, BA, select, start. Infinite men. Y'all remember the Contra cheat code for my NES OGs? Let me know. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. The big boys are in. Shout out to the big boys. Hope everyone bought the dip. Not sure what you're trying to say. It means you have to hodl in your name. Mexico hodl. Precisely. Don't forget, fam, we do have a Patreon. It's a great way to support the stream. If you're not a Patreon, feel free to become a member. Also, we have memberships with the channel, of course, and all that kind of stuff.
Stacking BTC like caffeine in my canteen. Life is a game of chess that makes biddies the damn queen. Stacking BTC till they cancel me and I can't stream. Like Biggie, it was all a dream. Now the biddy has set me free. Going,
let's biddy up, babe.
Bang, bang on the door, baby, never let it fade. Hodl house strong, yeah, we built it this way. No one to hold them, yeah, we're holding, never folding. I've always been a rapper, honky cracker, but now I'm a pastor, Bitcoin stacker. Now I'm a master of the Bitcoin standard. Hit 'em up faster than the Bitcoin panda. You can't touch me with your shitcoin flow. Like, do you even Bitcoin, bruh?
Let me know. Welcome to the Bitcoin Show. Shout out Crypto Storm and the rest of the fam. This gong strike is for y'all. It looks like we're close to 400 people on the stream. We're not streaming on Rumble today. We were having some technical difficulties when I first kicked off the stream. So we created the stream again and we excluded Rumble. It seems to be going better. But yeah, this gong strike is for y'all. Appreciate you. Cheers. Welcome to the Bitcoin Cafe with the CNA fam. Let's get it.
Welcome to the Bitcoin Show. Now listen up closely, low-key, stacking BTC like Satoshis. In El Salvador with my Bitcoin broskies, raising up the biddy like Gohan. Living in a hodl house, we're not the pawns. Going, let's biddy up, babe. Bang, bang on the door, baby, never let it fade. Hodl house strong, yeah, we built it this way. No one to hold 'em, yeah, we're holding, never folding. Bitcoin's dripping like a new Scottie Pippen 80 G's. We're royalty, bitty kings and queens, manifesting the kingdom that's finally come, playing chess moves. Checkmate, we won.
We're raising the roof in El Salvador. Freedom flows, IMF can't hold us no more.
Welcome again, everyone. I know we're still glitchy, but hopefully the audio is clean. Let's continue with the news. We appreciate you guys. But next story of the day, shout out Mexico Hodl. Appreciate that. Just sent the $50 super. 2x my CEP position. 104 TradFi is here. Well, I am to the new times, the big boys, 8 in. Cheers, brother. Appreciate the super. Shout out Shortcoin. That's very fantastic of you. JV, thank you streaming every day. You're very welcome. My pleasure, and thank you for the support. So this gong strike goes to Shortcoin and Mexico Hodl. Respect. You guys are awesome. The bomb diggity, I shall say. So thank you so much. All right. Next story of the day, yo. Headline here reads, after the infamous freeze frame, of course, Bitcoin supply in the exchanges is falling due to the public company purchases, which means incoming supply shock, more bullishness for the preload biddy. Bitcoin reserves on crypto exchanges have dropped to their lowest level in more than 6 years as publicly traded companies ramp up their accumulation of the digital asset following president election. According to Fidelity Digital Assets, quoting them here, we have seen Bitcoin supply in the exchanges dropping due to the public company purchases, something we anticipate accelerating in the near future. Fidelity said the supply of Bitcoin in the exchanges had fallen to roughly 2.6 million BTC, the lowest since November of 2018, and more than 425,000 BTC have moved off the exchanges since November, a trend often viewed as a signal of the long-term investment rather than short-term trading, meaning it's in the hands of the whales or the long-term hodlers. And over the same period, publicly traded companies acquired nearly 350,000 BTC, according to Fidelity. Fidelity is a subsidiary of, digital assets of Fidelity Investments, the almost $6 trillion asset management giant headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts. The Fidelity digital subsidiary was established in 2018, long before crypto was considered an institutional asset class. Fidelity is the issuer of the Fidelity Wise Bitcoin Fund, one of the first spot e-tests which were approved, one of the original 11. Fidelity noted significant corporate Bitcoin purchases. Most of the accumulation has been driven by Strategy, the business intelligence firm turned Bitcoin bank co-founded by Mr. Saylor. And since November, Strategy acquired 285,980 BTC, accounting for 81% of the approximately 350,000 Bitcoin purchased by publicly traded companies. Clearly, they're leading the pack by a long shot, and now they have some competition stirring up, which we'll dive into later. Jack Mallers being the CEO of a new company called 21. Ultimately, game theory, a great example of game theory playing out here from the corporate level. Yeah, I mean, with companies putting the Bitcoin on the balance sheet and doing all that fun stuff. And we also have MetaPlanet and these Japanese companies embracing the Bitcoin as the global hash wars continue, which will lead into our next story of the day. But first, let me check out some of the comments. And again, welcome everyone just joining today's live stream. It's a pleasure to have you guys here. Today we're just live on X and YouTube, and I do understand that it's been glitchy for whatever reason, but thank you guys for supporting the stream regardless. Let's go. Aped CEP. What does CEP mean? Is that a shit coin? Let me know. And yeah, I'm going to read comments for a bit, and then we'll continue with the preload biddy news and go from there. Let me do a little test. So on my end, when I test it, the audio, but it's still glitching the biz rate, the frame. I do it with my software. I'm going to try updating it after the stream so we can avoid this in the future. But shit, she's Louise. You looking at Xi? Are you talking about President Xi, or what are we referring to there, Steve? 21 Capital centralized. My understanding, yeah, it would be a centralized entity, of course, publicly traded company, I would assume. And I believe the backing of the $3 billion is coming from Howard Lutnick's Cantor. And if you didn't know, Cantor Fitzgerald, the founder, Howard Lutnick, is now working as the Treasury Secretary for Trump at the White House, which is, yeah, I mean, so pretty wild. Jack Mallers Bitcoin holding company stock. And I think they're launching with like 40 3,000 Bitcoin. Pretty impressive. Glad you're here. Thank you, Tammy. I'm glad you're here as well. Update your webcam software. Yeah, that might be the problem. I always have issues with the webcam software, so you just never know. Thanks for the tip. Much appreciated. I don't consider it centralized because there's thousands of people owning a portion of their Bitcoin. Not everyone owning it. Right on. 21. You're just using these advanced Roman numerals, I see. XX1. I dig it. That's a blackjack, baby. Hey now.
Stacking BT, BBC, stacking the biddy like BTC OGs. Stacking BTC on Lightning with no fees. Stacking BTC like Snoop Dogg rolls weed. Stacking BTC like Scarface with a nosebleed. Stacking BTC like Shinobi.
Nobody knows me. But anyways, next news as quick as possible for today. Headline here reads, ramp up their biddy buy. Metaplanet in Hong Kong, Asia continue to lead the chart. That's right. Tokyo-based Metaplanet disclosed April 24th. It acquired an additional 145 biddy for almost 2 billion Japanese yen, 13.4 million USD, boosting its total holdings now to 5,000 Bitcoin. Like they're on their trajectory. The firm has been aggressive in its Bitcoin treasury operations, using bond issuances and Bitcoin income strategies, such as selling cash-secured Bitcoin put options to finance acquisitions. Since initiating the Bitcoin strategy, Metaplanet stock surged over 3,000%. Good Lord. The company aims to hold 21,000 of the biddy by the end of next year. Let me know if you think they'll hit their advantageous goal there. Hong Kong Asia Holdings also announced plans to raise 65 million Hong Kong dollars, which is 8.35 million USD, by issuing new shares and convertible notes to potentially buy more of the biddy. According to the April 23rd filing, the company entered into share subscription and convertible note subscription agreements after trading hours. The deal includes issuing 3.2 million new shares at a subscription price of $4 per share, alongside convertible notes valued at $52 million in aggregate principal amount. The newly issued shares would represent 0.82% of the Hong Kong Asia Holdings total shares in circulation. While the filing does not mention that Hong Kong Asia Holdings intends to use the funds to buy Bitcoin, many in the crypto community speculated that the capital raise is expected to fund further Bitcoin acquisitions. I mean, sounds like it. The speculation follows HK Asia's February decision to step into the Bitcoin markets. And then also, as you know, Saylor's been stockpiling Bitcoin like a madman, currently leading the pack. And as of 4/20, April 20th, Strategy now has 538,200 Bitcoin on the balance sheet. The figure includes the company's most recent acquisition of 6,556 Bitcoin for $555 million. And if you don't know, now you know. And again, welcome everyone to the live stream. What it do? So yeah, let me check the chat before we get into our next story. We'll be discussing the latest with the ETF inflows in BlackRock, and then we'll dive into the latest with the sovereign wealth funds, stockpiling into Bitcoin. And then, of course, our breaking news, Max Keiser makes 2.2 million Bitcoin forecast amid the big news of 21 Capital versus Strategy Showdown as the game theory continues. JV, I'm not trying to hate, but all Bubbles, the new song, wasn't that great. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the feedback. It's hit or miss, obviously, with Little Bubble. JV, seeing auctions, price points lowering in those auction store values. I don't believe they are interested in that store value. I do think they're moving into the biddy. I will talk to my husband when he gets home Friday. Hopefully Star Card gets here before the end of May. I want to go. What's a Star Card? Haven't seen that for years, says Adam. What up, Watts Miner? Welcome to the live stream. Looks like we got 500 people here. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Shout out Sergio, Bub, Darth Melda. Share the post. Get a shout out from the one and only. That's a fact. Tune in to my guy JV as he dives into the best biddy news. Thank you, Brian. Always entertaining. It's going up forever, Laura. Damn straight it's going up forever, Laura. I expect nothing less from Pretty Little Biddy. Bang, bang.
Nobody knows me. Stacking BTC like everyone owes me. Stacking BTC like Max and John McAfee. Stacking BTC, accumulating sats so rapidly, so happily. Stacking BTC so casually, no casualties of galaxies around Earth fallacies. Stacking BTC on a flat Earth with no gravity. Stacking BTC cause Bitcoin is your majesty. Dong, let's biddy up, babe. Bang, bang on the door, baby, never let it fade. Auto house strong, yeah, we built it this way. No.
All right. Next story of the day, fam. like I said, we're going to try and knock everything out faster than usual today. So we'll just get right into it. Let's discuss where'd we leave off? The Bitcoin ETFs, right? Yeah. So yeah, BlackRock Bitcoin Fund wins best new ETF on 643 million inflow day. So the ETFs are so back when it comes to the incoming volume. Quoting them here, check it. I am pretty sure this is how I voted. Both of them did things no one else has seen before, according to Eric Balchunas, referencing Vanguard S&P 500 winning the ETF of the Year award. And over the past 5 years, VOO is up 89%, according to Google Finance. Now, IBIT, which is BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF, also one recipient of the crypto ETP, which is Exchange Traded Product of the Year. And they are the largest holder of Bitcoin as far as the other asset managers. And they hold more even than MicroStrategy. IBIT's 2 awards came the same day IBIT recorded 643 million of inflows, according to the Farside data. It was the highest inflow since January 21st, when it saw 662 million a day after Trump's inauguration. That was right after we hit the all-time high of 109.3, current price discovery. So yeah, it is what it is. Bitcoin commentator Vivek says this is massive, while Apollo Sats co-founder Thomas Farrer said it's a huge inflow. The IBIT fund, which launched January 24th on the 11th, alongside 10 other US-based spot Bitcoin ETFs, have net assets of roughly 54 billion. Pretty substantial, obviously. And you can see the IBIT Trust ETF currently trading at $53.20. Meanwhile, VanEck Bitcoin ETF received the award for the best new ETF ticker. IBIT's large inflow on April 23rd made most of 917 million seen across the 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs on the day, so almost a billion in volume. It was the second day in a row with over 900 million of inflows, amid most of the month posting outflows due to the macro uncertainty with all the trade war tensions and such. Glassnode pointed out that the 912 million ETF inflows the day prior equaled more than 500 times the 2025 daily average. And as you can see here, spot Bitcoin ETFs have purchased almost 25,000 of the biddy just over the past 3 days, worth 2.3 billion. So the institutional buying spree continues. And speaking of the institutional buying spree, next story we'll discuss sovereign wealth funds now piling into the biddy as the retail exits. You can call retail the dumb money, sovereign wealth funds, institutions, and whales, long-term hodlers, diamond hands, the smart money. And then we'll discuss Max Keiser's latest prediction of 2.2 million in play as a result of the game theory playing out with now 21 versus MicroStrategy. And again, welcome everyone just joining us here on today's live stream, dual stream. We're live on X and we're live on YouTube. Klaus Schwab said to expect a cyber pandemic. Yeah, all they do is spread FUD, and then their goal is to make it into reality. And if we all believe that as humans, this is how conscious, by the way, if we all believe and expect a pandemic, we'll speak it into existence, right? That's how these mofos and lizard folks, anything they say, with a grain of salt. They're the enemy of the humankind. Create this by into existence. COVID and all the other, crazy events that happen in our world. 21, not sure word. 21 is a sexy little blackjack. But anyways, looks like we're up to 600 people on the stream. That's good. Fidelity Digital Assets says public companies are buying big our supply shock scenario. Sergio just shared some news. He wrote, U.S. Senator David purchased up to 250,000 of the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF. Excellent. Thank you, sir, for the news. I just read that. Appreciate that. And Melda, much appreciated. Life as be so rough. Precisely. It's not easy. But next story of the day. Next story of the day. Line here reads, funds piling into the Bitcoin as the retail exit. That's right. Sovereign wealth funds and other institutions Bitcoin during a year, while retail traders are exiting the markets via the ETFs and spot markets, according to John D. Agasti, the head of strategy of Coinbase. The recent appearance at CNBC See, the Coinbase exec linked Bitcoin to gold and said that many institutional buyers bought Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation and macroeconomic. According to the Coinbase, Bitcoin is trading on its core characteristics, which again are similar to immutability, non-sovereign asset portability. So it's trading the way people who believe in Bitcoin would like to trade. When you do the work, there's a very short list of assets that mirror the characteristics of gold. Bitcoin's on the short list. So I guess they're trying to say Bitcoin drives the short bus is what it is. Governments and financial institutions to protect purchasing power and the value of their treasuries in the face of macroeconomic shocks and geopolitical tensions, which is a given, right? Makes sense. It's the ultimate hedge. Institutions adopting Bitcoin reserve strategy to combat inflation. We have sovereign like El Salvador and Bhutan adopting national Bitcoin reserve Bitcoin for their reserves. Municipalities and governments have also adopted pro-Bitcoin Bitcoin to protect the purchasing from depreciating. Michael Saylor and Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy, popularized the corporate Bitcoin treasury concept. We call it the Saylor put, adopted by growing a list of companies, including Marathon Digital, Semler Scientific, and even those Japanese firms like Metaplanet, which we touched upon earlier. The executive also transformed the business software and intelligence company into a Bitcoin holding firm, akin to the Bitcoin hedge fund. And then on 4/20 for the broskies, Saylor announced that 13,000 exposure to Strategy. 55 million beneficiaries have indirect financial exposure. Bitcoin recently surpassed Google in market cap, making Bitcoin the top 5 assets in the world of Amazon and silver, and showcasing the supply cap digital asset meteoric growth since 2009. And if you don't know, now you know. Next up, we're going to dive into our story. Max Keiser makes 2.2 forecast amid the 21 Capital versus Strategy Showdown. And as a bonus, we're going to be discussing how to earn a Bitcoin yield or a Bitcoin income off of your Bitcoin as per British HODL. And I'll be sharing some insights there. We'll have a good little discussion, do some Q&A, and we'll also play Chandy's new music video for Bitcoin Dragons. And again, welcome everyone joining us. Oracle confirms I'll be in Vegas, referring to the big conference at the end of May. What up, Sweet McGee? Where you been? I am hiding because I have to write bars for Chandy, but I'm doing it this week. Awesome. Can't wait to see your bars and hear what you guys come up with. And speaking of Chandy, shout out to Chandy10 Music. Make sure you're subscribed to her over on X for the #1 Bitcoin music content. And yeah, welcome everybody. I assume the stream is still chopping, but you can hear the audio. If you guys can verify, let me know. And we're about to dive into our feature story. And then we'll discuss some Bitcoin income, ways to create Bitcoin yield. And we'll go from there. And it looks like we got close to 700 people on the stream. Today, it's only a dual stream. We didn't use Rumble because of the technical difficulties. So we're only on YouTube and X for today. Tomorrow, hope to be back on all 3 platforms. And hopefully the stream is smooth and all that kind of stuff. Shout out Mr. Bone Daddy. How you been, fam? Welcome to the live stream. But anyways, I guess we'll transition into our next story, our feature story, after the infamous freeze frame, if we get one here. All right. Now for our feature story of the day, the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Keiser, makes $2.2 million Bitcoin forecast amid 21 Capital versus Strategy Showdown as the game theory continues in full effect. That's right. And another headline here, Jack Mullers, who's going to be the CEO for your Bitcoin play to MicroStrategy. This is like Saylor's true. You have other companies be MicroStrategy, aka now Strategy B. Max also wrote, attack intensifies. There started something in 2020. They'll cry over the low rates and inflation. Tsunami of the copycats have arrived, referring to 21. And the more Bitcoin bought, the less appealing fiat money, particularly the US dollar, looks. As Satoshi said, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well said, Max. He also wrote, the great thing about self-custody of Bitcoin is that if Wall Street's highly leveraged Bitcoin pyramid schemes blow up, you still own your Bitcoin and price goes exponentially higher due to the carnage of the fiat. We call this the Wall Street apocalypse. Bring it. We don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn. The great thing is Saylor gets these employee founders at 21 Capital working for him for free. Hence Giga Chad. Hence we have Employee of the Month given to Jack Maulers for the month of April. So thank you, Jack. Well done, brother. So there you have it. But let's dive a little deeper. And then I said as a bonus, we're going to discuss some income strategies for your Bitcoin as per British HODL as a bonus. But let's dive deeper first into Max Keiser's 2.2 prediction off the back of this. The Bitcoin buy captured 90 the other day after out at roughly 70. Meanwhile, strategy express even for Bitcoin. Saylor says Bitcoin can reach 50 million. His company secures of the total, and I have no doubt in my mind that he'll achieve that. Could you imagine 50 million per Bitcoin? I sure can. Quoting Swan here, citing Saylor, if I am lucky enough to grind % of the supply, the Bitcoin's going to 1 million per coin. That's right. I heard in the interview implies a market cap above holy cow, don't even know how to read the number, but whatever, obviously $1 trillion. For perspective, it means 10 times higher than the global GDP of 100 trillion, so I think it means plus trillion, so number, but nonetheless. MicroStrategy, the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin. Again, they've been accumulating like madmen. Saylor continue to steward the company's aggressive Bitcoin purchases. Keiser is now quoting 2.2 million between the down of Mahler's new strategy, and according to Keiser Institute FOMO, like a mofo, and Bitcoin is reaching a fever pitch. Here, the inevitable and undeniable path for Bitcoin is to take hold in the number one leaderboard 22 market cap. Would it just think of 3,500 just the other day? And he says then to keep going, all the capital on the believes the total address 10% will easily coin. And referencing the rise of 21 Capital, Keiser, Mahler, and Saylor's firms US dollar under the bus. While he acknowledges Saylor's prediction over the bar, he noted Bitcoin at 2.2 million. So yeah, 50 million prediction from and the notably 21 Capital, the Bitcoin investment firm created after Cantor Fitzgerald, SoftBank, and Tether. So they have the banking giants, or just giants in general, backing them, which is a big deal. Also, Bitfinex pulled $3 billion in capital there collectively. Jack Mallers comes as co-founder and CEO. We all love Jack, you know, the founder of Strike. He brings a corporate and government level, founded the Lightning Payment Act. Then we have Stephen Lubka, head of Swan, says 21 Capital challenged Saylor's MicroStrategy, producing Bitcoin native metrics like the Bitcoin per share, BP, challenging strategies model where investors have exposure to Bitcoin through the STR stock. Notwithstanding, Lubka said that the competition could still pan out as or for strategy, or for both. Exactly, we call that game theory. Quoting him here, ironically, someone throwing the gauntlet at MicroStrategy, we want to become the most successful company in Bitcoin, only makes MicroStrategy more valuable. I'm sure Saylor's smiling right now. Others like TD Cohen analysts see 21 Capital as the most meaningful validation to date of MicroStrategy's Bitcoin-focused strategy. Quoting him here, this turning point in institutional sentiment is incrementally more bullish. Fennec had a digital asset, Matthew did share. So there you have it. At these institutional giants continue to look to rival each other by stacking Bitcoin, launching native Bitcoin investment vehicles. Market liquidity is drying up. The Mahler-Saylor rivalry could accelerate a supply squeeze, pushing the price of Bitcoin into the parabolic territory. So you let me know your thoughts with that. And as a bonus, I want to touch upon this recent post from British Hodl. Shout out British Hodl. He recently tweeted, when I moved to Dubai, I needed a car. The car would have cost $100,000, $2,800 to rent inclusive of everything. So ultimately you would pay $2,800 for a. So I decided to put $100,000 instead into MSTY and use the growth engine of Bitcoin to pay for the car. And so far I have an average monthly income between $6,000 and $7,700 per month, and the car costs $2,800. And I still have that $100,000 in a growth vehicle. Bitcoiner, should they have decided to get this car, could have a car instead of Bitcoin-powered growth, which is smarter? And I want you to answer this question, and I want to actually read this response and then British response and then open up a conversation regarding this. And the reason I'm contemplating buying a brand new Range Rover for roughly $150,000. I'm thinking out loud, should I use 1.5, just own it free and clear, or should I do a play instead of putting the 1.5 Bitcoin into purchasing the vehicle, put it into like MicroStrategy or MSTY, collect the yield and turn that Bitcoin into an income to pay for the car loan and then some. So there's different strategies. So that's why I bring this up. This person, Shaquilo Oatmeal, what a username. He put TLDR MSTY equals a short-term yield trap. Bitcoin equals a long-term asymmetric upside. Don't trade the engine for the exhaust pipe. The MSTY approach sounds clever at first, but the math doesn't back it. Long-term, you put $100,000 into MSTY and make $600 to $7,700 a month. Sounds good until you ask, what's the real opportunity cost? Number one, Bitcoin CAGR versus MSTY. Bitcoin's historical CAGR is 100% plus annually. MSTY is a yield upside, and a Monte only had a 6.3% success rate versus Bitcoin when aiming for higher terminal wealth over time. Number two, MSTY income versus Bitcoin appreciation. $6,000 a month is $72,000 a year. It's a great cash flow, but if Bitcoin doubles just like it did from 30 to 60,000, that 100,000 of Bitcoin is now 200,000. MSTY doesn't do that. Number four, liquidity trap. That income is taxed, and FYI, you don't pay tax in Dubai, so British HODL is not paying tax. Similar story here in Puerto Rico, but I digress. It is not guaranteed and heavily exposed to the market beta. If yields drop or the declines, you're stuck with less income and no explosive upside. Number four, instead of converting BTC to MSTY, you could borrow against the Bitcoin loan to value, which is an alternative option I'm in about later because I have experience. I purchased my house I'm in right now using a Bitcoin-backed loan. So he says, pay $2,800 ride. Continues the historical path. You not only keep your principal, you multiply. Always peel off later as the debt gets inflated away. And then you understand, right, that a portfolio doesn't mean 100% direction. You can have you sound like a moron with the first question you should TY. Religiously watch my video, so you already know I said a max 10%. So ultimately, he says more than 10% portfolio into MSTY. So that's why he's clarifying. Stop lying to the people and do some fair chat GBT analysis. So there you have it. You guys let me know your thoughts on that. And I know, Greg, you have experience here, so I'm particularly interested in your feedback, and I want to open up this conversation. What do you guys think is the smartest play? If, let's just say I made the decision, I'm buying a new Range Rover. So either way you slice it, I plan on executing a transaction using 1.5 Bitcoin, whether I get a Bitcoin-backed loan, whether I pay for it outright using the Bitcoin, or whether I put it into a stock like MSTY or MSTR specifically to earn some form of a yield. What would you do? What do you think is the smartest play? I'm open to suggestions. Now, I'll give you some feedback. I purchased this house using a Bitcoin-backed loan in 2022. And long story short, you know, they say hindsight is 20/20. If I can go back in time, I would have not got the Bitcoin-backed loan because I could have just purchased the house outright, let's say at that time for 18 Bitcoin. I used the Bitcoin-backed loan. Bitcoin tanked. And to avoid liquidation, I had to pay off the loan before getting liquidated, losing all my collateral. And in the end, the house cost me 28 Bitcoin. So would I have gotten a Bitcoin-backed loan if I foreseen what was going to happen into the future? Absolutely not. So there is a high risk there. It can work either way. It can work in your advantage, or it cannot work in your advantage. And at the time, Bitcoin already achieved 10,000 in 2021. We dumped and was like, wow, this is probably the bottom. What a great time to get a Bitcoin back loan. Little did I know Bitcoin crashed to 17,000 later that year, right? And I dated and lost all my collateral if I didn't pay off the loan. So it was the Bitcoin back loan, because we're talking a lot of Bitcoin collateral. This was a big purchase, obviously, for the house. I digress. I'm going to read and go from there. 2 cents. I already am fully decided on the Range Rover. I don't need a sports car. I need an SUV for my little one. Slingshot with all the bells and whistles and supercharge. Right on. Wait till this cycle is over. Understand, I already decided a new car. The end of the cycle, but it's good, good thought. But car, either way, I do it and earn a yield. That's like my question. Yeah, I don't think I would do a Bitcoin loan again after my experience. It is high risk, and oftentimes the companies don't really talk about the risk. They only talk about the upside. So it's a double-edged sword, if you feel what I'm saying. But I'd feel more comfortable getting a car loan, Bitcoin back loan, versus a house, because the house was, a 7-figure ordeal. Obviously, a car, it's not as much, even though it's a luxury car. Is the Range Rover and then the Porsche correct? So I'm going to cop the Range Rover, and then maybe next year I get the Porsche 911. I'm in no rush for the sports car here in Puerto Rico, but I do want a new Range Rover. I'm already decided I'm getting the Range. So done deal. These are the stocks that pay the very high dividends. I'm still driving a 2010 car. I'm the ultimate Bitcoiner. I'm driving a car from 2010 when I can afford a brand new car a long time ago. But yeah, is what it is. So I think I'm long overdue. I've been living pretty humbly, so it's time to step up my game. I know I'm choppy. It is what it is, Mr. Corvette. The gremlins or the Matrix attack. But as long as you can hear me, it's all good. What are you going to do? We have 770 viewers. I do understand choppy today, but as long as you can hear me, that's the bigger picture. I don't know what to do there. Key verses, Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? Proverbs 31:11. The heart of her husband safely trusts in her, so that he will have no lack of gain. Very powerful. Appreciate the Bible quotes, by the way. So I'm actually anxious if someone else will. So what would you do let's say you have that 1.5 Bitcoin that you're looking specifically to allocate? Would you just buy the car, or would you put it into MSTY to specifically earn a yield as per what British Hodl just did? That's why I read you his post, by the way. What do you think is the most advantageous play to do it proper? Would you get a lease on the car and get a loan and earn a yield, or would you just straight up buy the whip? Let me know. The yield max funds are hit heavily by taxes. So if you don't live in a tax-friendly area, federal state income tax, I do understand that. It probably wouldn't be wise if you're paying 51% capital gains taxes in California. I don't pay capital gains because I strike the gong instead. I'm definitely living humble right now. Bitcoin will be going parabolic soon. Exactly. So my thinking is I got at 1,500, so I'm well up in the green. So it's like every once in a while you got to treat yourself to something nice, and I'm long overdue. Do the dividend funds after your Bitcoin stash hits 2 million? Well, you don't know if my Bitcoin stash is 100 million. So not saying it is, by the way. I actually own 0 Bitcoin, nothing. I own nothing except Nippinator, but I dare say Nippinator owns me. So I am poor. I would try to find a dealer that takes Bitcoin for payment. That is the alternative. I plan on buying a brand new one. I don't want a used one. And I am aware there are websites where you can buy anything using Bitcoin. And that would be a superior play to avoid transferring it into dollars. In my case, I can transfer a Bitcoin into dollars. because there's no capital gains tax. So there's a lot of talks about Bitcoin staking for the near future, and believe me, everyone can live off of those yields. Yeah, so there's a lot of alternatives. Everything has their own risks, and that's why I asked. So it's something I'm contemplating right now. It might look like a better idea to hear the video tomorrow, JB. Glitching, the audio is in and out. I think you're right, because it would do Chandy's new video no justice. So we'll go, and I'm going to figure out what's causing the crazy glitchiness in this bitch. No, I'd buy off a lease vehicle. Why? You know it's well maintained. 2 depreciation. Wrote my first leaser. Well, that's the other thing. You can lease the whip versus, well, you could, what is it called? There's lease, and then there is, what, I forget what these terms are called. We own nothing. Exactly, Adam. That's the EU model, not the Bitcoin model. Exactly. But we're all in different situations. So let's say I'm happy with my portfolio. I may or may not have plenty of Bitcoin, but I specifically want to use 1.5 Bitcoin because I don't care about that, hodling that particular 1.5 Bitcoin for a million years. I'm just ready to use it. How do you strategically use it? Do you use MSTY? Is anyone here in MSTY or MicroStrategy collecting some form of a dividend or some form of income off of your Bitcoin? JB from Dubai or the UAE imported. I'm pretty import a range into Puerto Rico would be extremely expensive. Wouldn't understand the logic. Just go to Range Rover Puerto Rico Land Rover Puerto Rico, which is right in 10 minutes from me. Drive it off the house. Lend lease. I'm not familiar with a lend lease. It's now expensive to maintain. I can care less about the maintenance. That's why I'm buying it brand new. It's not going to have problems at least for 5 years because of a warranty. So, that's not my thinking. Maintenance, people or JV, Toyota, you got to worry about it, breaking down 15 years, it'll run forever. Well, that's not how I'm thinking. I can care less. I'm confident if you buy any brand new car, you're not going to have any problems for at least 5 years, and you're going to have at least a 5-year warranty. So what's the big deal, right? JB, in all honesty, you have to enjoy your Bitcoin at some point. Exactly. I need a For me, it's all about use case. I needed a house, so I used Bitcoin to get a house. I need a new car. I'm driving a 2010. I think it's time to upgrade. So it's time. I'm going to wait forever. But JV, you can just hodl for 200 more years, and then you're only using 0.00001 Bitcoin. And you do make a fantastic, is what it is. Buy some land if you can maximize it. Dealership in Atlanta, you can buy the cars for Bitcoin. That's awesome. So that's definitely an option as well. But like I said, if I converted a Bitcoin to dollars, I'm not getting hit with capital gains tax, so it's irrelevant to me. It doesn't really matter. There's no advantage to have to use Bitcoin, though I'd prefer it if I was going to make a purchase, if that makes sense. Defenders are nice. They sure are. They are nice. I was driving one yesterday, actually. And which one you get in sport? I haven't made the decision yet, whether sport or the classic one that's 6 inches longer. I think the look on the classic one is superior. However, I'm in Puerto Rico and there's a lot of tight spaces, so it could be more advantageous to get the sport. I have a friend who has 2 sports. He, swears by them, loves them. So I'm not sure yet. I haven't made up my mind. I probably have to go test drive them both. So far, I've only drove the Defender. So my friend has it. But anyways, less is more most of the time. I got too many gadgets I never use. It's Amazon's fault. My advice, shop around and compare the prices. Well, I would be getting it directly from Land Rover. I'm not trying to buy a used car from a stranger. New cars are worse than smartphones for surveilling their owners. Probably right. I bought a Porsche 911 with my Bitcoin. You have to enjoy life a bit as long as you have enough left to have a comfortable life. Fact, Jack. It's true. But yeah, I appreciate you guys' feedback. So Greg, my question for you, if you're still around, because you talk about MicroStrategy and the other one, MSTY, all the time. How much exposure do you have to those stocks, and do you use it specifically to generate a yield? SVT is nice, all carbon supercharge. What's an SVT? I'm not familiar with the model. I take it it's a 911 or something. If you miss a car payment, they turn off your car. Oh my God. But I would assume on a Range Rover, if I got a lease, let's say it was 150,000, because they range from like 120 to like 200. Let's say it was 150. I would assume the lease would be at least 3,500, maybe 3,000 to 4,000 in that ballpark. So if you took one Bitcoin and you put it in MSTY, and if you could collect the yield hypothetically, like British HODL talked about, 3,000 to 7,000 a month, pay for the car loan, also give you an. This podcast and doing the stream many years ago, I think I had the affiliate income as far as like generating revenue for my company up to like over 30,000 a month. This was like 4 years ago. But because I get shadow banned, now I only earn a fraction of what I was once earning collectively. So it's like I'm starting to actually contemplate what are other ways to earn yield or earn income off of Bitcoin besides podcasting. Because, it's an uphill battle here versus the forces of evil when it comes to the algorithm. Range Rover, SVT is a type of Range Rover, a certain model. I'll look into that. I bought one brand new car I had built for me. When my daughter was born, I built, this was when the Mini Countryman came out, which was the 4-door Mini. I designed it online exactly how I wanted it, loaded it up with features, and then it took 6 months for them to build it, and they delivered it to my house. And then I did something similar with the Porsche I had, only I bought it with like 3,000 miles, so it was pre-used, but it was almost brand new, and they also delivered it to my house, and I bought it without ever looking at it, which was pretty gangster. And I documented it on a Facebook Live. So it was like, my dream car is incoming. I haven't even went and looked at it, never test drove one, but here it is. And then the tow truck or whatever delivered it in front of my community. It was pretty gangster. I spend Bitcoin on things that's priceless because Bitcoin is priceless. I'm sorry, SVR, Land Rover Defender. SVR brings the heat. Shit, 600 horsepowers. I hold about 10% of my investment in the light. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So you hold 10%. So you're pretty much following the strategy of British HODL. 10% of the investment is in MSTR. I'm not familiar with the UK or Y. Are those like more leveraged variations? I'm not familiar with them. And a mix of miners such as, so you take 10% of your Bitcoin portfolio and then you have it spread across all of those things. MicroStrategy, X and Y. I don't know what UX and Y is. I'm assuming different forms of MicroStrategy with leverage, and then you put the rest into miners. So you have a nice collection or basket versus being dependent on one, which makes sense. So what kind of yield are you earning as a result of that? Has it been successful? Do you take profits or do you roll it all over to build some form of exponential long-term gain? What's your overall strategy? Careful with the CEP. I'm a little late. Is $12 a share. There are a lot of JV that have very high dividend. For Capital has a 20% dividend. Eagle Point Credit. To learn in the stock market is I know nothing. I've never used Bitcoin to generate a yield. I'm just classic long-term hodler. So now I'm just exercising my mind. Like, what other ways can I use to earn income? This streaming is for the birds. It's not cutting the cake. So if you pay $20, are you paying a X2 MNAV? So be careful on that trade till it merges. Subscribe to No One Day the Bitcoin Pod. They not like us. That's right. If you're not subscribed, it's a fact. You're not like us. And we're not like you, mofos. And shout out British HODL, by the way. Appreciate the insights on the MSTY. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the conversation. And again, this is the Q&A segment of the stream. It's a dual stream. We're only live on X and YouTube right now. Bada boom, bada Bitcoin stream. Thank you, James Moliette. Appreciate you. Panda the Prophet. Daily dose of the bitty news with JB and the Nippinator. Keeping them nippinating. Thank you again, SS. Going into the stocks. Right on. Are you referring to the mining business? You're a serial entrepreneur. That's why I ask. MSTR derivatives such as, okay. So MSTR derivatives are MSTU. MSTU. So tell me, what's the advantage of the MSTU or MSTX, or what's the primary difference? And I obviously need to look deeper into this, but in comparison to MSTY, what do the other ones do? All trade on the NASDAQ. So are they all publicly traded too? All profit / invested for the long-term haul. So your strategy is not taking short-term gain, but you're reinvesting everything into the long-term just because it appreciates faster than Bitcoin. Am I understanding you right, Greg? I think I understand your logic here. Just avoid short-term capital gains. However, if you were in a position where you lived in Dubai or Puerto Rico and you didn't have to pay capital gains tax to begin with, would you take a dividend or a profit, or would you still just collectively reinvest everything to exponentially compound the growth? Yeah, we're lagging, but as long as you can hear the audio, there's nothing I can do. This is my second stream today. The first stream was 10 times worse, so shit. My apologies, bitty broskies, bitty baddies. Hopefully tomorrow's stream doesn't give us any glitches. Does 21 Capital work different than Strategy B? That's a good question. My understanding is they're modeling the Saylor put. So I think it's going to be a very similar strategy that Michael's using. So Greg says I keep 25% off the books via Federal Reserve Fund, right on, that pays a yield but can be swung in and out of trades. Okay. So you're taking 25% of the yield you receive via the Federal Reserve Fund that pays a yield but can be swung on in and out of trades. Right on. No, the AI bit. Oh, I didn't even know you had an AI business. Wow. Look at you. The newest one I'm working on right now made a sale to my daughter's school district today. Congratulations. That's awesome. Well done. And shout out to Mari, the one and only. Nippinator says hi. For those joining us, you know, we got to keep them nippinating. So yeah, Greg, what would you do in my situation based on what I shared with you here today? Obviously, to reiterate, looking to buy a whip, looking to utilize 1.5 Bitcoin. Either way, would you straight up buy it and own it, or would you instead invest, let's say, the 1.5 Bitcoin into some of these dividend paying stocks and then lease the and use the profit pay for the Bitcoin? Let me know your thoughts. Theoretically, MSTY and UNY should way outperform Bitcoin once it takes off, but they are risky. They also drop like a rock. So you're saying when Bitcoin drops, you're going to see bigger losses in MSTX. So if Bitcoin doesn't, hypothetically speaking, and these may be beginner questions, but I'm not the stock guy, so I'm not pretending to be the stock guy. And you got obviously have experience here. So if Bitcoin doesn't perform well for a quarter, and let's say it crashes lower than where we're at, those stocks would all have more significant losses and you'd have no gains. Hence, no dividends. Is that accurate? So that's the risk factor there. Versus if you bought it, there's no risk, but you no longer have your underlying asset, which is the risk. Hence, there's a fucking risk in everything. There's a risk when I walk the Nippinator across the street. We may get ran over. We may get ran over by the Land Rover. You know what I mean? That's right, when Bitcoin and MicroStrategy are down. Darth has a question. What's your question, Darth? I see a question mark, but I don't know the question. Love for the Nippinator with the brown heart. Thank you, Darth Melda. It's a company called Iron Hive. Wow. .ai. The tech has the development for 5 years. My company is new. Fantastic. They're 2 times leverage. Okay, so 2x leverage, which means if it's having success, it's more than 2x going to outperform Bitcoin. Is that accurate? However, downside, the risk Bitcoin is not performing. Stock is more than 2x the losses of Bitcoin. Is that fair? Even MicroStrategy is leverage. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. So MicroStrategy, same 2x leverage. You wouldn't get enough return from 1.5 Bitcoin on a monthly base. I would just buy. So how does British HODL, he claimed when I moved, it would have cost 100,000, which is 28. So I decided to put 100,000 to MSTY, which is today's price, roughly a Bitcoin, and use the growth engine for Bitcoin to pay the car. So far, I have a monthly income of $6,700 a month, and that's based off of 100,000, which is maybe 1.1 Bitcoin at today. So he's claiming 1.1 Bitcoin, he's earning profit between 6 to 70, more than enough to pay for a lease for, you know, 100 6-figure car. Pretty much strategy purchases leverage, then toss their leverage. Eagly says MSTY with little or no taxes, you get 40 to 80% yield. So on 100,000, Y has capped MSTR upside. So far, it's done well. Wow. Yes, it has to be leveraged. UK leverage trades are taxed. Oh, I didn't even know. There's a loophole in the UK. JB, how many chairs are you on? Are you all the chair? The chairman of the SEC, Nippinator? I'm a serial entrepreneur. I don't like to be bored in life. I see that. I'm similar. I'm definitely a serial age. Love your show. Thank you, multi-sig dummy. Appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Make sure to the channel. All subscribers of the show will get an on-screen shout you out as well. A little glitchy to do. Apparently, there's just a glitch in the matrix. Those Agent Smiths strike again.
They flew through, but they knew they were lunar bound. They played in a little mud. What they did was their 6 and spit out the Bitcoin. They spread hope with their dragon fam, singing Diddy Jam, working with their 5th Lev G family, JVC and E family. Hodl gang dragon, so legendary.
The Hummer EV SUV. Other is that the big baller? JV 20-30% a year. 100,000 would return you a 20% annual yield. Factor on that, brother. And if you don't mind, what kind of index are you using? Like an S&P or NASDAQ? Or again, I'm new to stocks. I've never invested in a stock before. So, yeah, I just restarted. Thought it was me. Where did I all the music? Yeah, unfortunately, Chandy deleted her channel, so you can no longer find her. So we encourage everyone to follow her on X. That's the platform. Give her a follow. I think money in an index is not a bad idea. And what percent like for example, what percent portfolio in an index? Right? Actually, which pretty much Adam, high risk like commodities or as short coin. She deleted the channel because she was shadow banned. She has her catalog exactly, and probably not the full catalog, but you can find a lot of her stuff on X, including the song we're playing now and the brand new music video for Dragon is fire. And I'm hoping to premiere it today, but the technical difficulty for tomorrow. And tomorrow's stream, FYI, is going to be early. It's going to be a 1 p.m. because I got to pick up my daughter. And my dog is snoring loud. Yo, you're going to wake up the neighbors. Shout out Leo. Ty. Thanks for the alpha. You're very welcome. It pays the alpha here. Clearly, Ethereum holders are the beta. You don't.
They flew through political storms, Satoshi breathing champions of the Bitcoin, sharing the message like Bitcoin flames, fire breathing financial hope, change, music lit, words so hot only a dragon could spit. Lit, rip, it was burning in Bitcoin. The tide was spent some time learning for victory through. They had tickets for face.
Are there any Bitcoin Runes protocol? Good question. Runes. Am I pronouncing that right? Runes protocol log. So is the name of the token log competing directly with? We'll have my husband check out 21 Capital. Nice. So they're just launching, as my understanding, 21. I think it's going to be pretty massive considering they got and Cantor Harold backing them. Like, for real? Holy shit. Kind of market cap insanity. In fact, let me look it up for you guys. The current Tether market cap. Let's see where we're at. And I know one of the larger hodlers of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. But right now, bro, USD, they have almost $106 billion. $146 billion. I think they're going to Ethereum's only at less than 212 billion. Oh, yeah, Tether's no joke. So extremely bullish. So I trade pretty much any index. In the Aussie 200. So I 100,000 on a million index trade per year. Wow. So 20 to 40%. So if you're willing $1 million to be making, holy cow, $250,000 to $500,000 per year profits. Lord. Be toxic. You got to be toxic. The key is not to just buy any. The key is to wait for the optimum areas. So when the stock is low, that's when you. Is that understanding there accurate there, Chris? Kind of similar to Bitcoin. If you had the opportunity to buy a dip versus after a mega pump or something. Yes, they are shit coins on Bitcoin. There's only one biddy. There's only one preload biddy. The rest are ugly little itties. Ugly, you can invest in the preload biddy or the ugly little ditties. Preload biddies or ugly little ditties. It's up to you guys. I just coined that, by the way. Preload biddies or ugly little ditties. I do not know anything about options. Right on. The music had the hiccups. Yeah, the damn glitch. I don't give a f about what people call me. Doesn't matter to me what the others think of me. That's because you're confident in thyself. That's how you should be. Awesome. The music has hiccups. Know this, pirates. Market's correct. It's expected and required for health. Bitcoin historically, 12 to 18 months out post-halving, has always made very impressive gains. We're on the crux of 12 months out. Flex on them. No Diddy, no Jay-Z. Stacking the biddy like it's Nipsey and JV. I love a good crux. Word at him. I caught you. I spell checked it because I didn't know how to crux. And again, welcome. This is the Q&A segment, fam. I know we're a little glitchy, but thank you guys for maintaining with me today. Hope to have the technical glitches sorted out, ironed out by tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow, early stream, 1 p.m. Buy low, sell high. Simple. Can it be that was all so simple then? When Lambo the Greg? When Lambo, eh? I'm more of the Rambo than the Lambo. When Rambo? Pew, pew.
Flight launching from a VIP dragon only rocket station, prep for feeling a Milky Way high kind of delight, doing the young moon, just a pit stop, but they had to be patient.
I know. I got to coin that. Ugly little ditties. There's Pretty Little Bitties, which I give full credit to Chandy for coining the Pretty Little Bitties from her music, in which, you know, I often say each and every day, I love Pretty Little Bitty. And then we have Ugly Little Ditties. I coined Ugly Little Ditties. And I'll choose the Pretty Little Bitty over an Ugly Little Ditty any day of the week. It's like not even a question. Short coin.
The Bitcoin Dragon team isn't weak. They're not greedy. They are unique. They're not sheep.
Well, yeah,
Dragons aren't sheep.
Da-da bitty doing going. So they knew they weren't done with their work. No time to take a vacay.
Let's go, Bitty Broskies. Close to 1,000 people on stream. And don't forget, all comments and quotes of the stream will get reposted. So you prefer the Pretty Little Bitties? I'm with you, Darth Melda. I'm not down. I don't get down with the Ugly Little Ditties. So on TradingView, we have an indicator called the RSI, Relative Strength Index. When a sell happens and it gets oversold, I go into my first trade, and I have several other orders at different levels in case the markets fall first, I think you mean. Right on. So you're always keeping an eye out to make the proper trade. Right on. Yes, TradingView. I bought something called Onyx Coin. Onyx! I'm a B-boy, standing in my big boy stance. Hurry, give me the microphone before I bust in my pants. Good old Onyx throwback right there. Agreed, that's how I do it. Oracle does the same. I start light, but the lower the index goes, the more I buy, as it'll recover. I knew nothing about it. You're giving your secrets out. Never teach the Wu-Tang. Never teach the ETH traders. Never teach the XRP holders. Been fluking it lately, eh? You gotta fluke it when you gotta fluke it, brother. No ditty. No ugly little ditties. Just like your Silk Road purchase, huh? You were so frustrated yesterday. I felt your pain. Thank you, Serge. I got to the point where I'm like, why am I streaming? It was like, I got hit with a flurry of like 5 technical difficulties, all the same stream. So I'm like, fuck, this is an uphill battle. I'm like, what'd I say? I'm like, I don't want to talk anymore. Goodbye, guys. I'm out. I was like, heated. Had enough. And it's like sitting in this hot office, trying to stream. Nothing's working. You know, and it got to the point, it's like, yeah, just end the fucking stream, JB. Tomorrow's another day. But yeah. You guys know me too well. Further, JV. What was that in response to? TradingView. Trading is a whole different ballgame. Yeah, so I have no interest if I do go the stock route to like earn a Bitcoin yield or something. I have no desire to have to be able to trade and to me that's more stressful than it wouldn't even be worth it because I'd have a job. So if I did something, it had to be something I put into I never have to touch. If I have to like fuck around to avoid losing everything, which is probably reality, then it's like, in my opinion, I'm better off just buying it. That's how I think, at least. I mean, because I don't fuck around with the trading games. I have no desire. And I don't claim to be the trading guru. I think I like long-term investing. Exactly. I don't understand. I mean, if it's your full-time gig and that's what you do for a living, I understand. But to me, it's so stressful. I'm with you, Serge. I have no desire because shit. It's so stressful. To me, it wouldn't even be worth the gains if you do get gains. And obviously, you can lose. So it's gambling, in my opinion. I'm not a gambler. I bought more and doubled down with gold by the pound. There are several TV indicators I use. The RSI, the log MACD, the DMI, the BTMM, the TDI. I also use the ESMA, simple moving average. Alligator, eh? And another cool one, too. Awesome. Oh, yeah. Plus, I had the fucking hiccups. There was like every sign. Number one, I couldn't start my stream till 5. And I went out of my way to still do it, though I was tied up all day. So I can't disappoint the fam. And so I did the stream, and then the stream wasn't working. Nothing was working. Not only was the audio fucked up, the visual was fucked up. Then I had the hiccups. I couldn't even talk, and it was extended hiccups. And it was just like compounding like a snowball effect. It was like another problem and another problem. So it got to the point where it was like, maybe it was just like an omen from God, like, take the day off, JB. I mean, for Christ's sake. Update your webcam software and check the glitching for the Streamlabs. Thank you, Oracle. That's what I plan to do. I think it's something to do with that as well. Because I always reboot the computer before the stream, and I did it twice today. When I redid the second stream, we rebooted it. So I just got to make sure we're on the latest update, because sometimes Streamlabs can be a bitch. So with the Index JV, you don't have to monitor it. Once you place your orders, you can just leave and close at the year. Well, that's good to note. Good to note, because I don't want to do the day trading thing. Too stressful. I've been in Bitcoin since 2015. Been trading in Forex and stocks since the early. See, you got a lot of experience. Early 2000s, that gives you 2 decades plus of experience. So fantastic. Fantastical, as I say. You guys see the new CNA caps Sergio's working on? He shared a video of it. It's ultimately the Bitcoin logo here. And then on the side, it's going to have the CNA logo. So I'm anxious for that one to come in. Shout out my boy Sergio. Yeah, it was pretty crazy yesterday, yeah, for sure. But at least we still got the job done. It wasn't the best, but to me, that's what it's about. You put in the effort. Sometimes it manifests to greatness, and other times it could be a flop due to technical difficulties, but at least we put in the effort, and we didn't just like not try at all. Yeah, I mean, most retail swings day scalp traders, especially in the leverage loss or lose. Retail is going to swing for the gains and probably lose. If that's accurate, market makers make a killing. Experienced traders like Greg and Oracle make a killing. And then the ducks lose everything. The ducks being the new plebs that have no idea what they're doing. Wop, 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 wop. JV, mess 'em up. But yeah, man. People are getting wrecked trying to short the biddy. Let them get wrecked. Come on, all of y'all. It's a sabotage. Remember the Beastie Boys? It's a sabotage. They trying to sabotage the markets in this bitch. You know what I mean? We got 1,100 people here between X and the YouTube. Again, we're not on Rumble for today, but hopefully tomorrow we're back on all 3 platforms without the glitches in the matrix. Driving and crap for the internet, but I managed to get the repost in. Thank you, Fax, you the man. No excuses. But on the other hand, JV, nothing will yield as much as Bitcoin. No, I'm aware of that. Long-term, holding Bitcoin is great. So if 1.5 Bitcoin does not affect you long-term, just use it. Fair play. Videos lagging hard. No, you're not alone. Unfortunately, the Matrix attacked us 2 days in a row. But tomorrow, we're going to KO the Matrix like a young Iron Mike Tyson. Facts. You guys can still hear me, so that's the bigger picture here. Yeah, remember, I'm streaming from Puerto Rico. It's not even a real state. It's a commonwealth. So we're lucky we're even live. Howdy how. It's been a hell of a glitchy day. And the other option is I can just get a loan. I don't have to use 1.5 Bitcoin to buy the car outright. I can just get a loan and then make payments every month. And I would just have to sell a little Bitcoin every month in order to make the payment. Unless I miraculously start generating more revenue through live streaming, which I'm not holding my breath. YouTube. Fun fact, since Bitcoin's inception. Or I can just start promoting meme coins and I can be rich by tomorrow. No need to borrow any money then. Beastie boys and gals. Exactly. Fun fact, since Bitcoin's inception over 16 years ago. Up, because a meme coin is ultimately a legal Ponzi scheme. It's officially legal, according to the SEC. We can create the NIP coin and all get rich together, broskies. Push me. Lost it all in a boat accident. I'm sorry. Why did Bitcoin pump from the low 80s to the 94 this week? You tell me, broski. So since inception, pre-little bitty is up 150 million %. Nothing to see here. Gold in the same period is up 230%. I'm definitely getting that new hat. Wish we had it in black and orange. I'm sure you'll be able to customize. We could pretty much get anything we want. Sergio's our man. Sergio's on the Bitcoin team, the CNA fam. He's part of the Bitcoin Cafe. That's my bitty broski. Good day, fellas. Shout out Johnny Fingers. Like that name, Fingers. I'm going to go, fam. Got the emails. Do what you got to do, Oracle. Thanks for the support. I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, early stream for tomorrow, 1 p.m. And a reminder to smile. And God loves you. And Satoshi blesses you. And with that, I am out. Make it a great day. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll catch you on tomorrow's live stream at 1 p.m. Deuces.
But soon they did pause to applaud the 100K.